Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with a turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Here we go. Cousin complained about a free car. This is almost too predictable with my family. Just before Thanksgiving, my cousin's husband, wrecked his car, a small SUV. They had liability only, so they got only scrap value for the car, which covered towing and storage. They didn't complain to me. They never come directly to me. They complained to someone else in the family, knowing that it would get back to me and that I'd be pressured to help out. The story they told was that they couldn't afford a car payment and needed a second car. The story got back to me, and I called and offered them a 5-year-old Honda CR-V with less than 20,000 miles on it. Their first response was that they were hoping for something bigger. They sent me a listing for a new Tahoe listed for $75,000. I said no, take it or leave it. They then sent a listing for a used one that was still almost $60,000. I repeated, take it or leave it. They took it, of course. Today, I found out what I predicted. They traded it in on that $75,000 Tahoe and are now complaining that they can't afford the new car payment. My cousin makes around $60,000 as a social worker. Her husband makes $100,000 to $120,000 in IT. They have 2 kids in private school for neurodivergent kids, but I already pay for their tuition. They bought their home over 10 years ago when prices and interest rates were lower. The car, or its price, doesn't bother me. They shouldn't be struggling. They shouldn't have a huge car payment. I told them publicly, within the family, that I gave them a free car that replaced what they lost and fit their need. They chose to put themselves in this position. They chose to not insure a car they were dependent on and couldn't replace. They knew that they couldn't afford the car payment and insurance on a new car. If I helped them out again, I'd be reloading the gun that they keep shooting themselves in the foot with. Edit. It's odd how many people think I'm enabling them in some way. There's nothing that I have done that changed their behavior or situation. They chose to trade the car in and end up with a $1,200 car payment. Without a trade-in, they would have ended up with at least a $1,200 car payment. Taking that away would change nothing. They would still be complaining about how tight their finances are. I'm minimally offended by their choices. I find it baffling how irresponsible they are. I cannot fathom making that kind of decision myself. I cannot imagine feeling comfortable living paycheck to paycheck and thinking that it's normal when you have a high middle income. I could understand if they were truly struggling financially, but they aren't. They whine about money being tight, but they're still going to find the money for some lavish family trip this summer for sure. I know I'm being super judgmental, but limited in how vocal I can be about my judgment. I also feel that I have a right to complain because of the investments I make in their family. As for their kids' private school, if I don't pay, they won't go. My cousin and his wife are impulsive and irresponsible. There's no way they will make the conscious decision to choose a private school education over anything that gives instant gratification. They won't stop spending irresponsibly so they can afford to give their kids the best education possible. So if I stop paying, it only hurts the kids. I won't take that away and punish the children for the parents' mistakes. I value education and know that the investment I make in them is invaluable to their future. They're taking advantage of your generosity. Paying for the kids' school is way more than anyone should do for extended family. And our second story. A sporting goods store encounter. I worked at a sporting goods store about 1.5 years ago. It was a fun job. I only worked a few hours a week since I had another retail job at the time. I mostly worked in the baseball section since baseball is my favorite sport. I had a good time overall until I had to quit when I went off to college. One day, a dad and son, 14 if I remember right, came into the store and were checking out all new gear for the season. I asked his son his position, what level he plays at, and what hand he throws with. The dad answers for him, kind of snobbishly. He plays elite travel ball as a right-handed shortstop. I thought nothing of it at first. I played travel ball and know the bats allowed and also know the type of parents that get their kids into it. So I take him to the gloves first. He grabs a lower-priced infield glove, maybe $170 or so. It's the glove I use, so I recommended it to him. It's really a great glove. Then the dad sees the $300 A2000 and says, "We'll take this one," before his son even tried it on. I could tell his son was not thrilled, and this was probably not his first rodeo with his dad making choices for him. Then we move over to bats. Now, this is where things get a bit interesting. I ask his son his height, and the dad again answers. I recommend a bat size, and they browse for a bit. His son follows my recommendations and picks out one that he likes. Again, not the most expensive, but it does look cool. Honestly, at his age, the bat does not make much of a difference since regulations are tight on what's allowed in the league anyways. His dad then picks up a bat 2 inches too big for his son. He should be swinging a 31-inch. He might be able to get away with a 32 if he's strong, but a 33, which his dad picked up, is too big for his son until he hits his growth spurt. I explained this to the dad. He didn't care. He just wanted the most expensive bat. It was kind of clear to me that it was not even about his son at this point. It was about the dad gearing him up to appear better than the other kids. I still am trying to explain to his dad from my own personal experience being a smaller kid that a large bat is not the best idea for him. His dad says, I know what's best. His son looked upset. I felt so bad for him. I could tell he was passionate about baseball. He was not in it to look cool, but genuinely did research on what's best for his use case. The products he gravitated towards are all great for him. The last thing before they got cleats out of my department is batting gloves. His son asks me what gloves I like to use, so I go to tell him before his father cuts me off and says, these ones look good. Guess what? They had the highest price tag as well. They're great gloves, but it's not worth the extra price in my opinion. They walk away to get the cleats and ring out with me. Their total was hundreds more than it had to be, and the son didn't even get to pick out what he wanted. He came in a few weeks later with his older brother to get another bat since the one his dad picked for him was too big for him. Him and his brother were both very grateful for my help and apologized for their father. I talked to him a bit about baseball, but he really was just in it for fun. He told me his dad puts a lot of pressure on him and spends tons of money for him to get a spot at an expensive travel team, but he just wants to go out there and have fun with his friends. He also told me that the pressure has made him think about quitting. He said, I love baseball, I really do, but my dad wants me to be the best, and I'm not that. I just want to have fun with my team. I gave him a pat on the shoulder and told him he's the best player he can be. Looked to his older brother, who told him the same thing. Not gonna lie, I got a bit emotional after they left. That moment stuck with me for over a year now, and it really does suck how much parents dump money into their kids' sports instead of just letting them play and have fun. In my time working there, I've seen lots of parents similar to his father, only wanting the most expensive products while not even critically questioning if those products are the best ones to buy for the use case. I was hoping you'd say the brother and kid came back to secretly return some or all the garbage the dad bought. I'm so grateful that they came back for the shorter bat after all. Nobody needs that poor kid getting hurt because the dad's too stupid to function. What a shame. Trespassing Karen attacks an officer. The cast: E.M., Karen, obviously, E.K., her kid, M, my mom, me. Well, me. Think back to the summer of 2018, the year this story occurred. My mom and I were home alone because the rest of our family was either working or at school. We're sitting in our kitchen and chatting a bit while my cute dog is outside in the garden napping under some trees. We can watch her through our kitchen window that offers the perfect view into our garden. Said garden is quite big. We have a miniature greenhouse, lots of plants and flowers, fruit trees, etc. And in the far back is a big trampoline, a sandbox, and 2 swings. We live at the main street of our suburb, so a lot of people pass by over the day. Our backyard is not only cut off by a gate, but the garden is also separated from the parking space for our cars through tall bushes. You can barely see the garden outside of the property, and you're only able to see one of the swings at a specific angle. The gate was closed when the story happened. So my mom and I are just talking when suddenly my dog appears next to me, very much frightened. Trying to calm her down, I sit on the floor and cuddle her, wondering what scared her so much that she fled the garden. You have to know that she's very easily scared. She never barks and doesn't attack in situations of danger, she runs. So obviously something must have happened, and it wasn't the neighbor's cat for sure. While I'm on the floor level, my mom has a perfect view into the garden and suddenly says, "What the actual F?" I stand up and look outside as well, only to see a woman and her daughter I've never seen before in my life standing in the middle of our garden. My mom and I decide to confront her, obviously, and go outside. My sweet pup follows us, ready to protect us even though she's scared to death. M. Excuse me, what are you doing here? EM. EK just wanted to play and I need to relax for a bit. This playground is just perfect for her. She sits down on one of our outside stools. M. I'm sorry, this is private property. My family lives here. This is our private garden. You can't be here. Don't be silly. This is public space. She literally closed her eyes and faced the sun after that. I'll never forget that. You're literally trespassing. I want you and your daughter to leave right now. EM opens her eyes again. Don't lie to me. I'm not stupid. Me. Okay, miss, we're giving you a minute to collect your kid and leave our garden or we're calling the cops on you. You're committing a crime. Please get your daughter and leave. EM. What the F? Are you people stupid or something? My daughter just wants to play and she's not breaking anything. I was really pissed at this point. Effing leave our garden or I'll sue the crap out of you. She had the audacity to roll her eyes at me. My mom and I just looked at each other and she takes out her phone to call the police. Karen sees this and suddenly gets up really fast. EM. Okay, we're leaving, calls for EK. Effing horse, you stuck-up bees. We decide to ignore the swearing and just watch her kid walking over to her with a shovel in her hand. My mom still has the phone in her hand, ready to call. But Mommy, I want to play. I know, but these bad people don't want us here. They're really mean to us, so we have to leave. But Mommy... EK just cries out Mommy for a solid minute while EM is taking her time getting ready to leave our garden. Now remember that my sweet angel dog was still next to me, scared but ready to protect my butt. Suddenly, that effing entitled brat just stops crying, looks at my dog, and throws the effing shovel at my dog and actually hits her hard. That thing being made out of metal must have hurt like hell, and my dog cries out in pain. EK hit her at the head and neck. I pick her up as fast as I can, basically screaming at the kid that she just willingly hurt a living and feeling animal, while my mom doesn't even wait for a second and calls the police. EM is yelling at us that she and her brat didn't do anything wrong and that this was all our own fault, that she's ready to leave, etc., while actually trying to leave, but since there's only one exit out of the garden because of our high bushes blocking the rest, my mom simply blocks it. I'm calling my brother at the same time to come home as soon as possible to go to the vet with our pup. My brother and the police arrive at the same time, and while he takes my angel away, I stay with my mom. EM is still yelling, and EK is crying again. F that kid, honestly. And EM, being a true Karen, tries to blame us. But since she's obviously not where she's supposed to be and she's fighting back, she hit one of the cops in the face, she finds herself in cuffs pretty quick. In the end, EM got convicted, is that the correct term? For trespassing and assault of an officer, but because her little crap attacked my dog, they got away with that. To this day, I still ask myself how the heck a person can think that our garden is a public playground. You can barely see it from outside the property. What awful people. I'm so sorry you had to go through that. And your poor pup, I hope she's okay. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.